Hi there, my name is Brian Dunnett, also known as Mr. Tidbit. How are you? And welcome to the Big Mistake video. Yeah, does that sound a little bit scary, a little bit ominous? Well, it's not meant to be too extreme, but I'll tell you what, you might be left feeling frustrated, disappointed, or maybe even a little embarrassed if you meander down a certain path. So, well, let's just jump right in, you'll see what I mean. Now, if you're like most people, it's probably instinctive to you to seek the counsel of other experts, depending on certain situations in life. For instance, you'll be counseled with a doctor for a medical problem, talking with a lawyer for a legal issue, talking with an accountant for a tax issue as well. You kind of get the idea, right? And you might even be seeking the guidance of a realtor when it comes to listing your property for sale, right? You might interview 2 or 3 people, select one, you understand there's a contract in place, and you sign your name and off you go. Now, how are your instincts when it comes to purchasing a property? Yeah, are you seeking the counsel of a realtor in that case? Yeah, for some reason, I don't know, folks, the rules kind of change, don't they? And I think it's because people just want to start off slow. They're at the curiosity stage. I don't think anyone gets up in the morning and says, today's the day I'm going to buy a house. Yeah, I think they start off slow, and guess what? A lot of people like to jump on the internet or scour newspapers or real estate booklets looking for, properties. What's the market doing? What's out there? What's that house across the street listed for, okay? And in the privacy of your own home or office, as innocent as it is, over the next few days, weeks, or months, you start looking for properties and houses that are for sale. You start making notes. You start jotting down the names of certain realtors and their phone numbers on some of the properties. You might even plug some numbers into a mortgage calculator to better ballpark what you can afford, okay? And the day's going to come when you realize that you're going to have to start making some phone calls. Despite the fact you might not want to get into any deep conversation with a realtor. You don't want to get into that sales pitch type of situation, but you need some more information. So you start making your calls. Guess what? One of the properties really inspires you. You're excited. You want to see it. You make an arrangement with that realtor, okay, to see the property, and they show it to you. Now you love it. I want to put pen to paper. You ask the realtor, can you please do this for us? A couple of hours goes by, they negotiate with the seller, and all of a sudden, voila, hey, everybody's happy. You got an accepted offer in place. Wonderful. Now your time frames start for any conditions in the offer. Financing, 5 to 7 days. You submit the paperwork to your lender the very next day, but now you have to scramble around for some paperwork on your own. You need proof of down payment, closing costs, income. You're going to do a credit check on you, etc., etc. The days go by very quickly. And guess what? On the 5th day, you get a phone call. It's bad news. Yeah, for whatever reason, they can't do this for you, okay? Now the disappointment and the frustration sets in. You don't understand why. Could be for a myriad of reasons, but your income does not support the price you paid for the home. Maybe your your down payment is not as high as it could be. Maybe there's a blip on your credit history that needs to be resolved first, these types of things. In any event, this isn't going to happen. And now the embarrassment kicks in because you have to talk to the realtor to say, I can't do this deal, and everything stops. So you can see from this scenario, as innocent as it was, this is the big mistake, really, that people get into. They get too far into it and they get crushed at the end. Everybody's time was misused, okay? Your time, the mortgage specialist's time, the realtor's time, and the seller's time, who took their home off the market for 5 days and now they have to start all over again, okay? So is there a better way? Yeah, I think there is. If you were to have considered and interviewed 2 or 3 realtors at the outset, even though you're at the curiosity stage, you could have maybe prevented all of this from happening. And for me, I like to discuss at least 5 different things with my people via a chat session, okay? First of which is motivation. Where are you on a scale of 1 to 10? If 1 is just curious, not a problem. I'm a patient man. I understand things take time, so we'll just develop a plan that works around you and your time frame. And once you get a little bit more serious, I get a little bit more involved. Easy peasy, okay? Number 2, your wants and needs for a property. I can key in all those parameters into our MLS system, and all the newest listings will just be funneled to you via email to your inbox. Saves you the time and anguish and frustration of trying to find them on your own. Yeah. Number 3 is pre-approval. Get the documentation into your lender early. It's actually the number 1 thing to do on the list. They can do a credit check on you, figure out how much you can afford in a home, calculate your down payment that's going to be required, etc. And you can even lock in an interest rate once you get a bit more serious, of course, for 30 or 60 days, just to safeguard against the interest rates going up in the future, okay? Number 4 is agency. That's the working relationship between a realtor and their client, be it a seller or a buyer. Now, you understood that there was a contract with the seller, right? There's also a contract with the buyer. It's called buyer representation. So we just go through it and discuss it with you, not a problem. And number 5 is the agreement of purchase and sale. That's where you negotiated in this scenario, the offer price and amongst other things, right? You know what? I like to go through this top to bottom early on because it's a 6-page document. It's full of fine print, lots of spaces that we fill on your behalf. You're protected, of course, but I tell you what, wouldn't it be nice to know what you're signing? Yeah. I mean, what does deposit mean? What's your irrevocable date? What's the closing date? Fixtures, chattels, timeframes, and the conditions. You've got questions, we have answers, okay? So do all of these things early. It really does streamline it for when you do find that house somewhere down the road, and then you can negotiate favorably on your behalf, okay? Makes sense, yeah? Okay. Now, I'll tell you what, all this preliminary work, it's so important. I've always believed that those who are the most prepared will get the best deals. And if you do this early, you're well on your way to success. It would be a pleasure if you could interview me for the job of representing you. And I do hope this video has helped you. And until the next time, all the best to you.